What's good, everyone? It's Friday, March 12th, 2021, and welcome back to THHoopers, two-time All-Star Brad Miller's favorite basketball podcast. I'm your host, Jacob Lehman. With me, I have, as always, Josh Rhodes.
What's up, guys?
And George Martin.
Take two on this because my internet decided to take a dump 5 minutes ago.
Looks like it, but to everyone listening, we're happy to have you on. Also, remember to check us out on YouTube if you haven't. On tonight's episode, we got a classic. We're gonna catch you guys up to speed and all the games went down the last couple of days. We'll see our social media guru George has found for us in the world of NBA news. And to end it off, I'm gonna give you guys some fill in the blank questions, and they'll answer them to the best of their ability. But first, if y'all like what you make sure to follow all our socials, all at THHoopers. Go find us on Instagram and Twitter, and drop some comments and questions. If you do, you'll get a shout out the next show. Like George here, he commented on the last post. Now we're shouting out George 21 Martin. So.
Hey,
that's how it goes.
Follow the gram. Follow the gram.
We take care of our fans. So, there he is. But yeah, I finished sharing that. Go ahead and follow us again at THHoopers. Let's talk some hoops. We as fans were slowly eased back in the NBA season as Wednesday only had 2 games start off second half of the season. About double digits, so a bit of disappointment there. The Grizzlies beat the Wizards 112-127 as they took control in the first and rode 29-20 from Jonas Valanciunas to secure the W. As second game, the Spurs fell to the Mavs on NBA TV 104-115 as the Mavs had a 63-point second half compared to the 45 the Spurs scored. Relatively healthy squads in the first night back in action. So I'll bring it to you guys and ask what you saw from either game. I'll start with you, George. Hopefully your Wi-Fi stays here because you had some interesting you were saying.
So, Memphis washed Washington, no pun intended, but, they've been struggling to contain opposing teams' star big men. Valanciunas at 29-20. In terms of San Antonio and Dallas,
wait, but they have Russell Westbrook.
They lose one game, and here comes Josh. He front runs.
They've lost 21 games, actually.
They had the worst COVID issues in the first half outside of Miami, man. Give them a break.
That's when they were winning. When Russell Westbrook wasn't playing.
Let George talk, and then you can Russell Westbrook slander.
Anyways, but besides that first game, I guess the really only notable thing that happened in the second game was Luka Doncic putting DeJounte Murray on skates and sinking a dagger 3 in his face, which I know hurt Lehman and I because we love DeJounte Murray. But yeah, just good to see everyone back in action. Healthy second half, hopefully. All right, Josh, what do you want to finish off with?
I mean, I don't really want to say anything about Memphis, Washington. George kind of got in the nose. KP at 28-14 for the Mavs. That's pretty good. Jakob Poeltl's not really an impressive center in any way. That'll come later on in my look ahead. But yeah, nothing too spectacular about Wednesday.
Yeah, really, it was just that they gave us 2 games, like I said, eased us back into it. Not a whole lot, but yeah, like George said, we got that Luka dagger, so that was fun. But an action-packed 11-game Thursday started off with the Pistons taking on the Hornets and losing at 102-105 in Charlotte. This one came down the wire, but behind PJ Washington's 20 good shooting, the Hornets were able to pull it out. Tough game for LaMelo Ball, though, as he shoots 3 for 11 and had just 7 points. For the Pistons, Jeremy Grant did the usual thing, having 32, but only 2 other players joined him in double figures, so very Piston-like. Josh's look ahead featured the Celtics taking on the Nets in Brooklyn. It was overall a solid game. The stars were out, most notably Kyrie Irving, who had 30. The stars were out as far as like playing.
They came out to play.
Yeah. They came out to play, yeah. As Kyrie Irving had 40 points and MVP chance against his former team. The Nets outscored the Celtics by 10 in the fourth quarter, but more impressively held them to 23 points in the fourth quarter. For the Celtics, Tatum had 31, but his partner in crime stunk it up, only having 13 on 5 for 23 shooting. His partner in crime being Jaylen Brown. Josh, did you get what you wanted from this one?
A good game, yes, because Jason Tatum was doing everything in his power to try and keep this team competitive with a Kyrie 40 bomb and point guard James Harden. But it's kind of difficult to win a game when, I mean, he had 4 steals. Good for Jaylen Brown on the defensive end. He did good on James Harden, but 5 of 23. Like, Kemba Walker shot better than Jaylen Brown. That's a red flag. That, if anything, that's a red flag. But no, it was a good game overall. We got to see Marcus Smart return, so that was fun. Marcus Smart kind of did his thing. 19 off the bench, 19 in 20 minutes. So
yeah,
who knows what he can do when he can do for that team when he gets fully reimbursed into that lineup. But no, it was a good game overall, and Kyrie 40 bomb, always a pleasure to watch.
George,
yeah, nothing nothing much to add here since, Josh gave his rundown of his look ahead. But, I mean, Nets are looking like they might run away with the East. They've won 10 of 11 without Kevin Durant, and Kyrie Irving and James Harden have looked
They're
better than
still
ever.
second.
One thing
Go
to note,
Philly.
their defense, I don't know how many games it's been, maybe overall is like 12th. So we really just said get their defense to average, and
I said
they're
top
a force,
15, and they're good. And yeah,
they're a force to be
yeah.
reckoned with that. So yeah, scary hours is here. That's all I gotta say.
I'm kind of thinking, have they played the Sixers yet since they got Harden?
They have, but both of them haven't been
None
up to
of them are really healthy.
injuries.
Okay.
Yep.
So yeah, that's the only team I can really see them. They got the Bucks number. I don't know if they played yet.
They beat them fully healthy, I think, like a few games after they got Harden. So yeah.
Yeah, they have everyone's number. Sixers are the only team I'm really still holding out hope for, unless we're gonna see in Nets finals. Nail biter out in Tampa as the Hawks storm back in the fourth to beat the Raps 121-120. Trae Young had 37 and Clint Capella grabbed 19 boards as the Hawks are missing the usual suspects in this one. For the Raps, they're also missing multiple key pieces, including 3/5 of their starting lineup. But they still kept it close to Norman Powell's 33 and Chris Boucher's 29 off the bench. In other news, it looks like Timberwolves are the team to beat after the All-Star break as they rocked the Pelicans 135-105 on the road. Wolves had 3 players score over 20, including Jalen Noel off the bench with 28. For the Pelicans, Zion had 24, but they're once again absolute trash from 3, going 6 for 32, led by Lonzo Ball going from 3. This is the time that last-minute playoff pushes are normally made. Hopefully the Pelicans can figure out before it's too late. Moving on, Philly beat the Bulls without Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid, although we didn't get the Toby Harris 50 bomb we were promised from Josh. We still
have one more day, one more chance.
He still did give 24 when he was their leading scorer.
Embiid comes back, though.
Embiid comes back, so I think the Tobias Harris 50 bomb train has left the station. I don't think it had many people on it. But yeah, he's still a 24 as leading scorer. Dwight chipped in with 18 and 12, and the Sixers as a team shot 50.
God, I missed that man.
For the Bulls, I'll just read a tweet here
Pause.
from an angry Chicago fan named Costa Pravis that kind of sums up their game here. At Wendell Carter 34. So much for inspiration from The Last Dance, huh? You look like a 6th grader against pro athletes out there. Good luck for the rest of your career, man. I have 0 expectations for you. 0 improvement and 0 care. At G_Martin21 SMH.
He tagged
Well said,
me.
Costa. I hate Wendell Carter Jr. too. Jimmy Butler led the Heat in every statistical categories. The Heat beat the Magic 103-111. Vooch had 24 and 17 because he's that good. But the rest of the Magic had a tough time generating offense. The Heat looked to finally be getting fully healthy, although they were missing Bam here. He'll be back though, and that's when we're gonna get to see what this Heat team is really about. We'll see if we'll get to really see, because I don't think it was
Heat
a fluke last
culture.
year. I don't think it was a fluke last year making the finals, but they have a little bit to prove after the slow start. So it'll be nice to see them fully get healthy. Georgia's look ahead was an absolute disappointment as the Knicks get crushed by the Bucks 101-134. Good call on that one, George. But the Bucks won all 4 quarters, and Giannis had a 24-point triple-double in his first game after winning All-Star Game MVP. RJ Barrett had 22 in the L as Julius Randle struggled heavily, having only 7 points on 3 for 12 shooting. The Thunder continue to refuse to tank as they get off to a 19-35 first quarter lead and don't look back, beating the Mavs 108-116. SGA seems to be taking the All-Star game snub personally as he had another great game with 32. And Al Pretty Eyes Horford continues to give them a solid center games with 21-9. Mavs played this one without Luka and Porzingis, so nothing really to see here. Although Luka Doncic stand-in, Jalen Brunson had another solid game with the start, having 26.
I'm telling you.
You still want him to start with Luka? You want that to be the backcourt, Josh?
He just had 26.
Without
and
Luka.
he let Josh Richardson have 27. So clearly something was right. Because Josh Richardson is not creating.
Oh, we lost George. All right, we're not going 3 times. So yeah, we'll keep going. Where was I though? We'll come back because he had something to say about the Clippers, Warriors. My look ahead was actually pretty good as the Suns take down the Blazers 127-121. Devin Booker continues to hoop as he had 35 in this game and also had 8 assists. Suns had another 6 other players scoring double figures. So overall great starts to the second half for them. Dame had 30 in the L, but Gary Trent was shot chucking again. It wasn't hitting much. We got George back, so good thing it was quick. So I'll go to this one. The second half of the TNC doubleheader was Warriors at Clippers, and oh boy, did that one suck. Clippers blow them out 104-130 as both teams were healthy. Andrew Wiggins led the Warriors in scoring with 24 because Steph Curry struggled from 3 again, going 1 for 8. This game was light work for the Clips as PG shot 5 for 14. They still breezed through this one due to Kawhi and his 28. What did you see from this one, George?
I saw that this Warriors roster is not as good as what I thought it would be early in the season. No, it's been a downward trend since before the All-Star break. They just really outside of Curry, they don't really have like a play who can handle the ball. Like Curry needs to be off ball too sometimes.
Well, George, didn't you expect that at the beginning of the year? Like we kind of just anticipated Steph Curry like has to go to almost godlike MVP numbers for this team to compete.
And I mean,
we needed him to be like Dame was this year and how hard he's been.
He's putting up good numbers. He's putting up almost like similar 2016 like numbers. It's just he's not getting crap from his counterparts. Draymond doesn't look like he wants to shoot a 3-pointer.
Okay, don't blame this on Draymond. That's how Steph Curry gets half his shots.
True, but I'm saying offensively as well. I mean, he's only putting up like 6 points per game. Like you need more from him there. Wiggins and Oubre, they're just really inconsistent. I expected more from Oubre more than Wiggins, and I've gotten more defensively from Wiggins. I think they need to make a move. I don't know what it looks like, but I mean, they look like a play-in team now to me.
I'm gonna counter George's thing because I'm looking at the stats here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
we had some struggle. We had some struggles. Most notably, Curry, 1 of 8. Draymond actually, he didn't shoot too much, but 3 of 7, 12 points. I mean, he didn't. I don't know if George expects him to be like Mr. Triple Double, but
I need like 12 points from him a night.
Well, he had 12 tonight, so there goes that. I honestly think if Steph Curry hits a few more threes, Wiggins 1 of 4, Kelly Oubre 1 of 5. They didn't get too much off the bench because they had like 3 people make threes off the bench, and neither of them were really good shooting. But
they had 3 players off the bench scoring double figures.
Yeah,
one of them being Nico Mannion.
Nico Mannion, James Wiseman. Yeah, I mean, I think they need to get the rotation set, and I think they just need to shoot good. I mean, I think we're tiptoeing
a little bit right here. We don't got to be Steph Curry apologists. He's the best shooter of all time. He's not been good except for the All-Star game, really. He has some good games, and then he blows chunks from 3 sometimes.
Yeah, I'm saying that, but
we can't blame this on Kelly Oubre Jr. and Wiggins when they both had 15.
So what you're saying is Steph needs to go nuclear every night in order for them
Steph needs to. It's weird saying, but hit some threes because we see games like this.
But it's not like this every night. But what I'm saying is, like, don't you want them to have a team where they're not overly reliant on Steph being average, not having to be below average?
What are they supposed to do? What are they supposed to do?
George, it's Steph Curry, man. He's developed this reputation to be lights out almost every night, and you can't just say, "Oh, we need to like."
And he does have nights. He does have nights where he does that. You're just catching it on a bad night.
George, that's the whole point. You're saying they need to retool.
Double figures, not named Steph Curry. Like I said, one of them being Nico Mannion.
It was you realize like 14. You realize the game was over by the end of the third, right? Like that was all garbage time points.
Okay, then why did Steph?
It was 104-65 at the end of 3. You really think all those points came?
George, George, and I'm telling you, Steph Curry can't be pulling antics like this in the third quarter when he's shooting 12% from the 3-point line. He's the greatest shooter of all time. You keep telling me that he needs to retool the team, which doesn't make sense. Curry just needs to. I've seen
Steph put up 40 like in the game against the Mavericks, and they lose. Because the counterparts aren't doing as much.
Name the last time that happened.
The Mavericks this season, when Luka set his career high, he had 42.
That's
Steph
why
also
they
had
lost,
40.
because he set his career high.
No, Steph also had 40, and they still
lost.
But
you're saying Luka Doncic hit his career high, and you were like, they still should have won that.
Well, Steph was Steph. You guys say Steph has to be Steph-like every night.
Okay, and now I'm telling you this one.
If they're gonna win, Steph has to be Steph-like. Steph being Steph-like doesn't make. Shut up. They're not gonna win every time Steph is Steph-like. That's what I'm saying. He needs to be Steph-like and then get help. He got help here, and they still lost.
No, he didn't. He didn't get help. That was all garbage time numbers.
Players scored in double figures. 6. That
15,
was garbage. 15, 12, 14.
Garbage
14.
time minutes. I I want you to look up. We're not going to do this on the pod, but I want to see the pre third quarter numbers because it was a 40-point game
You know what
by
I saw?
the third.
In 26 minutes, Steph Curry, 14 points.
He was done
As
by
the
the third
star
quarter.
player.
Okay, you can't keep saying like Steph does bad, but then when Steph does good and he doesn't get enough from his team, that's like, oh, well, he needs to get more, which is what I'm saying.
I never said he has to get more.
Yeah,
I'm saying,
but George,
You
you're
just said
using
that.
George, you're using a terrible example to say Steph needs more help because even though his garbage time minutes, Curry still went 1 of 8 with 14.
You're using one game to try and
the
justify.
last 10
You
games.
are
I do
using
the
one game.
recaps. He's had 1 for 12 games, 1 for 10 games from 3. He won the 3-point contest, but sometimes he just stinks it up. And that's going to happen when you're shooting an abundance of threes. But I'm not saying that I'm saying Steph needs to do more. If he scores 40 and they lose, fine. He needs more help. But he got help here and they lost.
It's been like he didn't get help, but whatever. We're just gonna move on because
I'm not going to keep repeating
all those
it, but we
points, all those
disagree here, I
points
guess.
came from garbage time.
The starters, 3 other ones scored in double figures. That's not garbage time, man.
They just
All
need to
right.
play Wiseman more.
They-
14,
well,
7, and 12
They
minutes.
benched him first half, didn't they? I also mentioned that. They benched him first half because he missed the COVID test, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure, yeah. That's stupid.
So, yeah, I know
they
Steve
got to play
Skur's trying
him
to
more.
send a
Kevon
message.
Looney,
but-
really?
Yeah, exactly.
Over the guy they drafted second? Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Well, I'm already angry, so let's talk about the Kings. We got a blowout tonight as Kings beat the Rockets 105-125 as Luke Walton continues to extend his case to be kept as a coach, which, to be clear, I'm not happy about, but he's doing it. The story for the Kings is the same as always. Fox had 30, and the rest of the starting lineup had a bulk of the points, including 3 other 20-point scores next to Fox. But the bench was abysmal. Rockets, due to a PJ Tucker pregame flake, started Justin Patton in the starting lineup, and it worked as well as you thought Justin Patton when the starting lineup would work. 0 points, went 0 for 6. No John Wall in this one either, so not a fun time to be a Rocket fan. All right, so that was the recap. Moving on to the halftime segment. George is going to take this one away. Fill us in on some news. It's called the halftime segment for 2 reasons. Halfway through the show, and George is the half hooper. Although, like I mentioned last podcast, he's moving his way up. We have to change the name to 3 hoopers. Who knows?
Maybe not after this debate we just had with Steph.
Well,
Maybe
it was
I'm
a
lower on the
2v1.
ranks.
It was a 2v1.
It was an agree to disagree situation. So
Yeah,
Fair
that's
enough.
how it goes. All right.
Alrighty,
I think
so
you got some good halftime news for us. Fill us in.
So pretty late night Woj bomb. PJ Tucker and the Rockets have agreed that he will no longer be with the team anymore, and they're working on resolutions on how they can move on. Coach Steven Silas states, so far we have 4 teams that have been actively in talks with the Rockets: Lakers, Nets, Heat, and Bucks. So with that, do you guys expect a trade to one of those teams, or is he bought out altogether? I'll start with you, Josh.
it's just a matter if they can get something for him, because I heard a report that the Rockets want Tyler Hero or Duncan Robinson, I believe, for PJ Tucker. And if teams are asking for that, or if the Rockets are asking for that, everyone's just gonna wait for him to get bought out, because eventually he'll just get bought out. I don't think anyone's gonna bite the bullet for PJ Tucker.
Yeah, I think someone might jump the gun, like a team that really needs him, like a Miami Heat, like a team that could really use him. They might go, okay, we'll give you a first. That's the most. Because just that way they can make sure they get him, because in the buyout market, anything can happen. I'm sure he'll probably go. Everyone wants to go to the Nets, so he'll probably go to the Nets. So, I mean, I feel like in order to get that jump, same with the Aldridge situation we'll talk about later. But, yeah, I hope that's not what they really think they're going to ask for, is getting Tyler Hero for PJ Tucker. But, I mean,
I would like PJ on the Heat. He fills in that Jay Crowder role that they've probably really been missing badly. But as Lehman just said a matter of seconds ago, Spurs and forward LaMarcus Aldridge have also agreed to part ways. Don't know why teams are doing this lately, but they are. So I guess just general question, who do you think is going to be a buyer in this sweepstakes? Or is there any chance he gets bought out, which I don't see? Lehman, what do you think?
So the only team that can really trade for him, the only team that can trade for him and eat his $19 million is the Boston Celtics, because they have that Gordon Hayward exception.
Oh yeah, the TP.
So he doesn't give them anything. But I mean, if they really, what else they can use the exception for? I mean, might as well try and give it a trade. But we know Danny and just make moves, so we're scratching that. Assuming he gets bought out, I got 2 teams. I think Miami could use some more offensive firepower. Him and Bam up there. He's not the Jay Crowder stretch 4 role that they need to fill with PJ Tucker, but he's still that midi is cash. So you got to watch out for that always. And then one team I really like, but only works in the buyout market, is the Phoenix Suns. They've been starting Frank Kaminsky at the 4. They like to bring Jay Crowder off the bench, and I think Aldridge and Ayton could really, like I said, that they just need another veteran presence because Booker and Ayton never played a minute in the playoffs. They got CP3, who's got a lot of experience, but I mean, the rest of them, I mean, you go down the line, like I said, they got Jay Crowder. They could use some experience there. So I think Aldridge would be a good key fit there. Slide into the 4 spot, play a little stretch big minutes.
All solid points. All solid points. Josh, what you thinking?
So I do think the buyout market's going to have to do it. I'm actually going to disagree with the Phoenix one just because I think the way they've been playing Dario Saric a lot, he's kind of like their he's like the everything guy. He like comes off the bench and he like does anything they need for them. I'm actually going to take
he brings his hard hat.
I'm going to take a approach closer to home. I think he might go and return to Portland.
I like that.
The uncertainty of Zach Collins returning, and they've been struggling with bodies. I feel like Aldridge just kind of being like a paint presence and like another veteran. And of course, I mean, I don't think Dame's really opposed to getting LaMarcus Aldridge back on his team. So I think that would be kind of fun.
Well, he always said, I think it was a few years ago, probably even before the Lakers meeting, like like all that. He said he wants to finish his career in Portland. We're coming at the end of his career here.
Here's the opportunity right here.
This might be here. I know Dame would.
If he returns, I think he gets his jersey retired, and I think,
How do you? Because I know the big thing is like, we'll stick on Portland here because that was my one team I left off. I think he's good there. They need like health there, because of Nurkic and Zach Collins always being out of the lineup. Do you think he would really fit there, or just he's an extra body there? Because they kind of already have Enes Kanter there, who's a big that's kind of slow on his feet.
I think both because he's an extra body, which Portland needs, but I also think he fits there just because they don't really like try to get their big men involved in the 3-point game just because they got so many sharp shooters, essentially Dame, CJ Mello, Gary Trent, like players that should be shooting their shots. So it's like, I think just another person that can get boards and that can play minutes for the big men, because Kanter can't play a lick of defense. Nurkic can only play 25 minutes without an inhaler. And so I think Aldridge kind of helps him, even though he's a little older on the older side, but I think just the extra body kind of helps him integrate. And his play style, it's not too, I don't think he's asking for too much right now because he understands where he is.
It's kind of like a Melo situation, right? You think?
Yeah, exactly.
He comes and gets him that midi bucket. Yeah.
Yep.
George, where do you rank those 3 teams as far as fit, or if you want to go realism?
So it was Portland, Phoenix, and Boston?
Portland, Phoenix, and Miami.
Miami, sorry.
If he's bought out.
I probably like Miami the most, like you said, pairing him with Bam, and like it doesn't completely fill the role that Jay brought, but I think any scoring they can bring, especially because I mean they've had games where they have like clunkers and score 80. I like that the most. Phoenix, I don't see it making a lot of sense because late in the game they throw Crowder at the 4 anyways. And I just feel like come playoff time, I feel like that lineup would be maximized more. And Portland's just like the feel-good story. Like, you'd love to see them there. They need bodies, but I'd probably put that at the last. But good points. You brought up teams I didn't really think about. So lastly, have some injury updates to talk about. First, Kevin Durant will be having another scan on his hamstring next week. And Coach Steve Nash added, no matter what the scan shows, there's going to be some sort of ramp up before Durant returns for the game. And then lastly, Anthony Davis, he's not going to play in today's game against the Pacers, but he's going to be reevaluated tomorrow night after the game by team doctors. So I guess just like general field here, like what you guys feel about each injury, what team is going to be affected more, and yeah, like your concerns overall. So Josh, let's start with you.
So both of them have MVP candidates, in my opinion. I kind of like, honestly, I think it's more likely for, even though the gap is a bit wider, I think it's more likely for the Lakers to falter just because I don't know how many games LeBron's really going to play. and they might slip to like fourth, but I don't really think either of these teams are like too concerning in terms of the standing like dropping, because the Nets clearly are doing something right. And Harden and Kyrie are playing more than good enough to keep their second, maybe even first position. Who knows? And the Lakers are tied with the Clippers for the third seed. And I don't know. I don't really see either of these teams kind of falling, just because the gap between the fourth and fifth seed in the West is 2.5 games. I don't think they lose that many games. And the Nets are they're 9-1 in their last 10. None of those are with Durant. So I just don't think. Obviously when playoffs come, it's going to affect them, but I don't think either of those injuries are going to last that long. So we'll have to see, but I'm not really concerned either way.
Before I get to you, Lehman, I'm actually just going to ask you both this. Do you think there's a chance either of them sit out like the whole rest of the regular season? Or you think that they're going to need to come back before playoff time?
I think 80 is more likely to than KD.
Okay. All right. And then Lehman, you have anything else to add?
I mean, really just both teams are pretty fortunate that they can keep their head above water without him. I mean, I think the Nets are a lock to make the conference finals even without KD. So, I mean, they're in a pretty good spot there. I think Lakers need AD more. But, both teams, they'll survive without him. I'm a bit concerned as far as injury-wise with both of them. But that it is what it is. They'll be back. Are you guys concerned at all about the Nets really not getting, like, that many games under the belt with the big three?
No, I mean, like with most teams in a situation like this where they're like brand new stars coming together, I would be, but I just feel like Harden and Kyrie, like they're all like true professionals. They're all, greats in this game. Like they've all had deep playoff runs. I feel like they just know how each other work and stuff. So I'm not really concerned.
Fair enough.
Josh, you got anything or?
No, you're absolutely right. And like Lehman said in a podcast earlier, it's very difficult to not be able to integrate Kevin Durant in an offensive system. So and they all get along, obviously. So it's not a big issue.
Alrighty, good stuff. I think Lehman's got us for the home stretch here. So take it away.
Well, as always, George, we're not worried that the blood, sweat, and tears you put out a halftime report. But moving on, during the All-Star break, Nike dropped the earned edition jerseys. These are given to all 16 teams made the playoffs last year. There's some fire ones, some solid ones, and then there's a few that are not good at all. But I'll start with Josh. We'll all three give our favorite, talk about that, then we'll give our least favorite. All right, so give me your favorite, Josh.
I'm gonna go with the obvious pick, the Toronto, but I'm gonna explain why. I mean, like the color scheme is cool, but like I always love when Toronto does like the up arrow with their jerseys, because it's like a representation of like, oh, we're up north. Like I don't think a lot of people really think about that, but the way they design their jerseys, it like is a cardinal direction up north. So I think that's kind of a cool little thing that Toronto does.
Never eat soggy. Yeah. All right, yeah. That's a good point. I didn't think of it that way. I'm like, ooh, purple, Vince Carter. That's how I kind of looked at it.
Yep.
But George, give me your favorite. And you can say Toronto. Is Toronto your favorite?
Yeah, I'm not going to break it
Toronto's
down like scientifically,
so
like
Toronto's
Josh
my favorite
did.
too. Give me another one that you like.
I really like. I'm gonna go home bias here. I like the Lakers one because it looks like it was that. It just reminds me of the Mamba jerseys.
That wasn't mine. I just knew you'd pick that one.
It reminds me of the Mamba jerseys, like even the Hollywood Knights. I see some in that, but it brings back the old days of the Hollywood Knight jerseys.
Why is there always 18 for the number on the Lakers ones? I always think of Dion Waiters. I'm like, why is Dion Waiters modeling?
Champ cheese.
Well, so I had 3 of them because I was preparing. Toronto's one of them. I like Philly's a lot.
Yeah.
Philly has the cream, and then it has the bell on it as well.
Mm-hmm. That's a make or break, to be honest.
The Liberty Bell.
I like it a lot, and then especially we'll see what kind of like leg sleeves and arm sleeves the players pair with that. I think it could look really nice. And then the Blazers. It kind of gives me Brandon Roy vibes. It has that stripe across, so I really like that one.
Yeah.
But yeah, Lakers one. Their Hollywood Knights one. Reminds me of the Hollywood Knights one, so that's cool.
Minus the sleeves.
Yeah, but I feel like it's a little too plain. Laker ones are normally pretty plain, so it's a little tough to catch my eye. All right, now let's be mean. I'll start with George here. We'll go Serpentine.
Oh, thank God.
What is your least favorite?
Miami Heat. It looks nothing like anything they should be wearing.
It's the Pacers jerseys. It's the
Pacer jerseys. They look like when the Laker jerseys were messed up and they looked yellow. And they also just look like, I feel like I'm watching like Michigan or Marquette. Like it's March.
Jimmy Butler went to Marquette.
He
Fun
did.
fact.
So I don't know, but
It's an
yeah,
homage.
I don't
Josh.
like those at all.
I don't know why. I don't. I mean, I guess I might give you the obvious one. I don't know why Utah keeps thinking they can wear green, man. I don't. We have the Celtics. We have the Bucks. Why do they need to be green?
See, I had Utah mid.
I mean, like the logo's cool, but it just pisses me off. It just pisses me off because it's been like that for like the last decade. Like I was watching Carlos Boozer make layups in that stupid green color, and they still think it works.
Darren Willis is on that team too. Why say Carlos?
Yeah, but
Boozer?
I remember Carlos Boozer making layups in that ugly bright green chartreuse. It sucks. I don't like it. Char poop. That's what it is. I don't like it.
That's good. All right. Well, I also had 3, and I didn't have Utah in there, so I got 2 more. I agree with George. The Heat ones are. They just look
that's
like,
the worst one.
They look like the Danny Granger ones.
Mustard.
They look
It's
like
Colonel
Danny Granger
Mustard.
in Indiana. Then we have the Nets, who would be mid,
Really?
but their other jerseys are so good. And then we get this one, and it's just kind of like
It reminds me of like subway stations in New York, like with the circle and
say
stuff.
Subway the restaurant.
I thought I was gonna say Subway Surfers.
All are valid points,
I mean,
honestly.
Like it's good. I mean, it's all right, but I mean, if they wear this one over the Biggie Smalls one, I'm like change. Like
Yeah, those were nice,
So-
but they got sued, I believe.
they had to change the color scheme.
Yeah.
Luckily, I got one off a DH gate. But
Shout out J Sports Podcast
then-
for that.
an actual one I think you'll agree with here, the Thunder, because it just looks it just looks like
It's
the Mavericks
clean.
one.
True.
And
True.
at least the Mavs normally wear that one. Like I remember
wow.
Sean Marion hooping in that one. The Thunder one,
They're so similar.
it's plain, it's similar.
Well, the thing is with the Thunder, they used to wear that same font too. Like when KD and Russ, those first 2-3 years, that's
Derek
the
Fisher
same
vibes.
font that they
Yeah.
wore. I think
First
the
3
nostalgia
years in
kind
2014,
I'm just-
Derek Fisher.
I'm- I'm gonna just say one more because I thought you were gonna mention it, but the Clippers one sucks. Like what?
I mean, they're just boring.
Yeah, that sucks.
Sorry, Jake.
like-
I don't know why he's saying that. I
like-
like him.
I thank goodness you like them. I think they're gray, George.
And?
Yeah, are
Gray's a
some
cool
of the
color.
like, because like the Blazers one isn't gray. We're looking at the Bleacher Report one.
Yeah.
Like the Blazers one isn't gray. I don't know why some of them are grayed out, but
Yeah, I'm looking at him right now.
They ran out of ink at the Bleacher Report.
Yeah, that should be a red stripe. That's
Yeah.
just in black and white coloring.
if the Clippers jersey actually looks like that, I'll give it to you. If it's actually gray, like 6 different shades of gray, I'll give it to you. If it looks like the first 2 episodes of WandaVision, then yeah, it sucks. But I mean,
I
it should
mess
have
with that
some
gray.
color.
I mess with that gray.
Oh yeah, fashionista George Martin.
Oh, like my
messes
gray
with
sweats.
the gray. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Gray sweats, baby.
Yeah, yeah. Other than that, I mean, how do you compare these to like other jerseys that dropped, like the City editions?
I like the
these
city
ones
editions way
Yeah,
more.
these ones are pretty mid. As far I feel like they kind of. I think like they were like, you have 2 days to make these, and the Nike sweatshop was like, oh no, and they started
we
like
talk-
color penciling and stuff.
Can we talk about the fall off of like the Heat jerseys? Like last season, they had the perfect Miami Vice ones. This season, it looks like something's wrong.
I like
with
the
my-
Miami Vice ones this year too. I know they
like
get hate, but it's not too much for me. I like
It
them.
looks like my TV screen can't like fully portray the color. It's like half pink and half blue.
That
That's 'cause
seems
you
like
live in a
issue
state
with
without Wi-Fi, George. That's why.
that seems like a more of a personal problem than the Miami Vice City jerseys problem.
It looks great on my Sony TV. So
Anyways,
well, anyways, is right because we're moving on. Last segment for today is going to be a fill in the blank game. I'm gonna give you all a statement. You finish it off. If you disagree, feel free to discuss. But I want to hear both y'all fill in the blank, and then I don't want to hear you fill in the blank and explain why you're doing it. I want to hear from both of you, and then we got to talk about it a little bit, and we'll talk about it.
I
All
know
right.
you're talking to me, so I'll try and contain myself.
I'm looking directly at you. All right. The best duo in the NBA is. We'll start with Josh.
LeBron and Anthony Davis.
George.
Ditto.
All right. So nothing there. The most slept on team so far has been George.
We've talked about them, and I've talked about it with J Sports, but I feel like the Phoenix Suns are kind of really flying under the radar.
Period.
Josh.
Period.
I'll let you explain it, George. But I want to hear Josh. What if he has the Suns too? Josh.
Yeah, Portland.
Portland? Okay, George.
Yeah.
Go ahead, George. Stop talking about the Phoenix Suns. Fill me in because I haven't watched any NBA. I need to hear about the Phoenix Suns.
So God, I'm stupid. So they've won 17 of their 20, 17 of the last 20. They're currently second. I think
See,
second best.
I didn't know that, so I'm glad you said it. But you're saying it in the right time. I didn't know they won 17 in the last 20.
Yeah, 17 of the last 20. I believe they have the second best record overall in the NBA, and just really flying under the radar. I feel like more teams are talking about Nets, Lakers, Clippers, and just Phoenix is, hey, we're right here as a legit contender.
All right, Josh, let's talk about the Blazers a little bit.
Yeah, they're sixth. They're tied for fifth, and they don't have their second best player. Something is happening in Portland.
Dame time. All right. The most surprising team so far has been Josh.
Phoenix.
The most surprising team, Phoenix. Okay, George.
Oh, Hornets.
The Hornies. All right, Josh, fill me in. Talk to me about your view of Phoenix.
I mean, I just think like the transformation from sneaky first round upset to legitimate finals, I think threat is a big jump, especially because they only got one player.
It's tough to be a surprising team when most people had you pegged in at the 5-6 seed. So it was impressive there. George went a kind of different direction. A lottery team projected. Now they're fighting for a playoff spot. So talk to me.
I'm glad Josh and I see eye to eye with that Suns pick. But yeah, Hornets, they're currently the 6th seed. LaMelo's just came in and torn it up. I can't speak. Terry Rozier has looked like Michael Jordan in some games. I mean, he is their go-to guy in the clutch, and he's been like hitting everything. He has multiple game winners this season, so it's going to be fun to see. I mean, I'd love nothing more than like a Nets Hornets series. I think that's super entertaining, but we'll see.
Yeah. F defense if that happens. That's a 140 to 134 game.
Need LaMelo to hit a dagger on Kyrie for the culture.
Oh, the most disrespected player this season has been. I'll go to George.
Okay. Oh, Luka.
Luka.
Sorry.
All right, Josh.
Sorry. Oh my
Donovan
God,
Mitchell.
I'm horrible.
Who wants to go first here?
Go ahead, George. You're
Okay,
so
He's
excited.
He's foaming at the mouth.
I really like got to get myself together on this segment. I say Luka because, everybody had him, including me, you guys, had him being MVP, Mavs being a top 3 seed. And then he has like a horrible first month. But the Mavs are like, they've won 10 of their last 12. Luka's been putting up great numbers. He's shooting almost 40% from 3. And I just kind of feel like people just still have the hampering expectations from earlier in the season.
Josh.
Well, I mean, when you go from top 3 to 8, you're going to be in the more disappointing category. I mean, is there anything else I can really say about Donovan Mitchell? Shaq abused him on live television, and LeBron and KD picked around him. It was sad. And like, I don't know. I feel like everybody kind of likes to credit other Jazz players except Donovan Mitchell, but like he's
they do it as a team. But like,
it's like it's like a ton. But I feel like he's like the core, like he's like the guy, and like everything else, like you see, but like like you take any one of those players out, and it's like they'll fill the void. But you take Mitchell out, that whole thing engulfs itself in a black hole. So
Mitchell's been disrespected for a while, just because he came out of college a little late, so he's a bit older, and they feel like he's already a veteran. And I'm like, this dude, like,
I should have said Ben
time.
Simmons. I should have said Ben Simmons.
Well, he's rightfully disrespected, but I mean, the team.
Okay, no.
All right.
You know what? I'm gonna change my answer to Ben Simmons because Donovan Mitchell's a little bit, and we seem to disrespect Ben Simmons. Like he's not a contender for defensive player.
Josh got 2 answers. This isn't fair.
I've never.
You have a second answer, George?
No, I don't.
I've never seen an NBA player get disrespected because he doesn't shoot a jumper and he does legitimately everything else on the court.
I mean, I guess 7-footers shooting jumpers now, right? And Ben Simmons is too scared.
I know. But they have Seth Curry. They have Tobias Harris and Joel Embiid. They're 7-footer.
If Ben Simmons knew how to be a consistent 3-point shooter, I think everybody would have Philly winning the finals.
I think Ben
hitting
Simmons
tens
would.
off the court and he can't hit a 3 on the court. It's ridiculous. I don't know why he keeps.
No,
Why
no,
can't
no,
he
no,
use
no,
the
no,
no,
no.
the jumper?
No, no,
Ben
no,
Simmons
no.
averages 26 and
Okay,
3 3-pointers
all
made
right,
a night.
all right.
They are finals
All right,
bound.
all right, all right. I'm not here to harp on the fact that he's mentally afraid to shoot anything beyond 10 feet. That's not what we're here for. I just don't understand why we just keep ignoring the fact that he's still first team all defense. He's still a prolific passer.
He's an all-star type player, and he's the 6th or 2nd best player. But he get the gripes I have against him are correct. He can't shoot, and he won't shoot. And that doesn't
You
win
sound
basketball.
very far away. But
You're waning away from us, Lehman.
I understand what you're saying.
Well, then let's move on. Can you hear me? A little bit?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. The team that will have the best bounce back second half will be. Who did I start with last time?
I did because you start with me because
Okay.
I fluffed up again.
Big Honey and the Nuggets.
George.
Ice Trey the gang, Atlanta Hawks.
All right, let me hear it, Josh.
I feel like they kind of just have their mojo back. They've won the last 4 and they're 5th now. And, they had a bad start. So, I mean, it's pretty easy to bounce back when you're that offensively talented. So,
George.
Yeah, Hawks are their coach. They haven't lost. They've won 6 of the last 10. They're playing like more fun basketball. And I guess maybe Lloyd Pierce really was, the dagger in that team's morale. So we'll see what happens.
All right, the team that will fall the hardest in the second half will be George.
Pains me to say this, but the New York Knicks.
No, Josh. Tell me it isn't so.
Clippers.
Ooh.
All right, George. Make Bobby Shmurda mad. Let's hear it.
Okay. I mean, they came out firing prolific hot start. Randall was having, an all-star. He was an all-star, but I don't know. I just feel like they're going to go on like a random losing skid, like in mid-April. And that just,
feeling?
Yeah. I mean, it could happen. They just go on a random losing skid in April, and then boom, they're like the 9th seed, and then they lose in a playing game.
But I mean, I'm not in this game, so. Josh.
George saw them lose 1 game and dip from 4th to 7th, and he had a panic attack. I'm going to say the Clippers just because this is the part of the season where 1, they get too comfortable and Kawhi and PG start to miss games.
Shout out Future.
And 2, I think they're more mentally ready I think they're trying to get more mentally ready for the playoffs. And they, like George said, they keep losing marquee matchups, but I don't think their second half schedule is that difficult. So I feel like they might just slip games just because they're like, oh, Reggie Jackson, go ahead and give me 30 while Kawhi and PG get ankle massages.
So you think they're going to get mentally ready by losing?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Interesting.
Fair enough. All right. The first round matchup you want to see the most is Josh.
Oh my gosh, it hurts to say this. It really hurts to say this. But Philly Toronto.
Okay, George.
His is probably better than mine. I've kind of stated this, but Bucks and Heat.
Oh yeah, that's a solid. Okay, Josh. Tell me about it.
Oh man, it was between that one and Suns Spurs, but I went Philly and Toronto just because I love watching Joel Embiid beat up on people that don't know how to guard him.
Sour cream Aaron Baines will not know what
honestly,
to do.
And to be honest, and this might be even better if Kyle Lowry gets traded to Philadelphia because
oh no, that's not a series.
Then you have a return. And Kyle Lowry versus Van Vliet. I mean, they've been studying each other since Fred Van Vliet got the starting position, and I don't know. I think
Fred Van Vliet to have another kid.
I think that'd be a lot of fun because I think the Raptors are a sound enough team, even though I kind of destroyed them in the last pod. I think they're a sound enough team to kind of compete with the fact that Embiid's going to drop 45 and 20 on them almost every game. So that'll be a Tobias Harris dependency matchup still. So I'm excited.
Sound enough without laughing.
OG's going to clamp Embiid. No cap, George.
OG.
Yeah, well, with improvement of Yanni's play, especially in the regular season, he's kind of had a really good 10-game stretch lately. I just want to see how he responds to that wall because I know
Can
Miami's
you
got
say
the
his name
personnel.
again?
Yanni? That's how you say it in Greek. I've been tired of Americanizing it, but
You
Miami's
hate
had some
burgers too? What's going on here?
George, the 19-year-old American native is tired of
Greek
being
American.
Americanized.
Anyways,
Let him talk, I guess. What does
I
he
really
got
want
talk
to. I
us
really hope that the Bucks can, persevere through that wall scheme that's been their kryptonite the last 2 postseasons, and with the Heat losing a few key pieces there and just struggling overall, I think Milwaukee could take that series unless Bud, continues to hamper them with their lineups.
I'm telling you right now, I like Georgia's series a little more just because I got the Heat in that series. If they're both healthy,
Lehman loves betting on the Heat come postseason time.
I love it.
We might do a bet if that happens.
I don't think Shaggy is helping them as much as Jay Crowder is. That might be a 7er, but I think the Bucks might steal it.
Insert Myers Leonard joke here. But moving on, the final one here. The NBA Finals will feature blank and blank. We'll put the pressure on you, George. You get first dibs at this one.
I'm going Lakers Nets.
Josh.
I want to agree with George, but Joel Embiid and Anthony Davis are going to do that tip-off.
All right. So you both got Lakers there. Try to convince me why Sixers over Nets and vice versa.
George, I just want to hear who was your second place team for the Western Conference, because that might differ and that might be a little interesting.
Y'all both got LA? LA Conference?
I have Phoenix.
So did Phoenix take down the Clippers in the second round? Is that what you're? I know you
I
don't
feel
have
like
the whole playoff bracket in front of you.
I'm talking about in terms of favorites. I mean, obviously.
Oh,
okay.
I get you.
I'm just changing. I'm like, who is the second most likely team to come out of
Fair.
the West? I think it's going to be Phoenix.
I kind of have to agree with you there.
Alrighty, so that was an interesting.
I got Clippers, but I will just keep disrespecting them, I guess. But this is between
it's kind of
you guys.
hard. It's kind of hard.
Talk the East.
Kind of. Okay, so I know we talk about 12 seed. They are not 12 seed. They're 12th and they're average on defense now, and they get timely stops, and they have 3 of the most unguardable scorers this decade. But I don't know, I like Philly. It just feels like it's something different this year, and I feel like they really have the tools. And this is kind of harping a lot on, I think, because now we're hearing, I don't know if it's true or not, but I was doing a social media guru myself, that Kyle Lowry's telling his inner circle that he's going to be traded before the deadline.
Oh.
So who knows?
He did sell his house.
I'm going to say, if Lowry does get traded, I think that team is almost near unbeatable. Like the Nets and Sixers are like probably 1-2, I think, for everybody. I think Philly just pulls out.
So Josh,
yes.
What does that do for your Harden talk then? Harden's on one of the most stacked teams he's ever been on, and he doesn't make the finals.
George, that's the beauty of all of my takes coming together, because I win both ways. Either Philly wins with Embiid and Simmons working together, or the Nets win and Harden might get a finals MVP. So, George, it's a win-win for me. I just think
you set it up.
You lose because Embiid and Simmons can't play together, and then James Harden has the same finals as 2012, and he sucks. And then you lose both ways.
I'm gonna keep it $1. I don't know if Kentavious Caldwell-Pope is clamping James Harden.
AC Fresh, run it back.
AC Fresh is having
94 feet a game on Instagram is gonna lace him up. Phil Handy is gonna clamp whoever he asks.
But to sum up my reason for taking Philly over Nets, I think Kyle Lowry helps them a lot. Joel Embiid is unstoppable against DeAndre Jordan. And Ben Simmons' defense is going to help him a lot because he's 6'10". He has a pretty good wingspan, and I think he's just going to be set on Kevin Durant. So
you got him checking KD.
I don't have him checking KD possession for possession, but I think he has a legitimate.
Someone has to guard him every possession.
No, I like the Sixers defense against the Nets for sure.
Sixers, okay, so
especially you might slide Tyson, Matisse Thybulle in the starting lineup.
You might put him on.
They
got Shake Milton, and
I'm not completely disagreeing with you because I've had the Sixers be my team out of the East for up until like mid-February. But
yeah, but you're a front runner, so you changed the Nets when they started winning. Go ahead, keep going.
I'm not a front runner. I'm legitimately scared of that off. Like, I don't know who can stop it. But yeah, anyways, I digress.
I haven't made a decision yet. Have to, so I like that.
I'm gonna
But
say, actually, no, I can't say that.
also, I was gonna put this in here, but I want to hear it. This is our real last one. Josh, the best rapper in the NBA is blank.
Who did you say?
The best rapper in the NBA.
The
is
best
blank.
rapper, Victor Oladipo.
George.
Dame Dollar.
It's Dame Dollar?
Yep.
No Zio love and no Ant Edwards love.
Hey, I listen to Zio's songs.
But
Meta
we
World
move.
Peace isn't in the league anymore, so
We move.
Dame has collabed with like legit artists. That dude
Lil
is
Wayne.
real.
Lil Wayne.
Yep. Wheezy.
Victor Oladipo do be underrated though on the mic.
He does,
Like,
yeah.
he do.
I didn't
He
know he
do.
rapped.
He sings. He knows how to sing.
All right. It's George's favorite segment that he always forgets, the look ahead.
I got it this time.
I'll start us off here. Why not? So the Pelicans aren't on TNT, but they are nationally televised on ESPN against the Clippers on
Close enough, right?
Sunday night. We'll see it. We'll see if they're the TNT Pelicans or the national TV Pelicans. If they beat the Clippers here, Clippers play all their guys, and it's not a back-to-back for the Clippers, so they should. I don't know, man. I don't know. We're gonna have to put them on
The
all
beginning
82
of the downfall.
all 82 next year and see if they can lose on national TV. But that one's mine. Josh, what's yours?
So everyone will probably be back for Philadelphia, barring any negative or barring any positive tests. So Sunday, 3:30, a very weird game, but if you have church service, you'll make it back to watch.
There's a
DeMar
national
DeRozan.
TV game on 11 o'clock on Saturday, so NBA doesn't know what they're doing.
I think they're just bored at this point. No crowd. DeMar DeRozan will go visit Philadelphia and try to stop Joel Embiid. Again, I love Joel Embiid abusing centers that don't know how to play defense, so that'll be fun. And it'll also be fun watching DeMar DeRozan trying to play against Ben Simmons, because I'm assuming that's going to be the matchup.
Come on, DeMar, you can do it. I believe. He's only 6'11", DeMar. You can do it. George, give me your look at it if you found one.
I actually found one before we started recording, and I told you, so I'm glad you remembered. But I got Nuggets Mavs. Nuggets have winners of 4 straight. They're 5th seed currently. Just Luka versus Jokic. I think it's going to be a really fun battle. See what the Mavs have come the second half. See what they can do. If they're currently 8, so see how much higher they can get. But yeah, looking forward to a good match.
That should be a fun one. Nuggets got no one to guard Luka. Mavs got no one to guard Jokic.
KP is going to get abused.
KP is going to get injured, no cap. So, I mean, that's what's going to happen. But yeah, good stuff as always, guys. That's going to do it for next episode. Thanks for watching and listening. And if you like what you're, make sure to follow us at THHoopers on Instagram and Twitter. Say what's up. I guarantee you get a response that George is never caught lacking without his phone. But besides that, thanks for being an OG, and take care, everyone.